Sports Goombahs Show, powered by the sportsgoombahs.com. I'm Cashy the King. I got my chef to the left, Brendan B. I got Mikey the Wall to my right.
Hey.
Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Cashy King at Sports Goombahs. We're brought to you today by Seal Roofing, Apple Public Adjusters, and LarryGilman.biz. Check them out on our website, sportsgoombahs.com. Click on all our advertisers and do business with them. So they keep advertising here on the Sports Goombahs Show. Give us a call, 267-563-2893. 267-563-2893 is the Sports Goombahs smoke phone. Give us a buzz. You feel like ranting and beefing with us, because that's what we do here. All right. First of all, I forgot to do it last week, is to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm probably the only show host in the whole world who didn't do that last week. And I remembered as you guys were driving away from the 515 studio, I was waving to you in the background. Happy Thanksgiving over there.
I have some recipe for you too, I think.
Yeah. B was supposed to give us a recipe so I can cook. I cooked my first turkey. I think my first turkey in my life, I think I cooked.
Really? You cooking yourself?
Well, no, actually, my mom and dad came over. I had a small little family gathering, and I promised my mother I'd cook a turkey. So I went to the Acme. You know, I spent my $100 and some odd dollars, got the free turkey, free frozen turkey. All right, we don't waste any time. We got to call Sports Goombahs.
I got a beef.
Got a beef. Can you let me get my intro in first before you're beefing?
Beefing, we're talking turkey.
Yeah. Who is this?
I'm old.
You're not. Go ahead. What do you got to say? Who is this?
Listen, I want to put this Ray Rice deal to bed.
First of all, who is this? Oh, hey, yo.
The Eagles, nobody's going to take him.
Hey, you got a name?
What's that?
You got a name? You called the show. You got a name? Who is this?
Chef Andre.
Oh, no, Chef Andre. Hey, right. You haven't called in a long time. You've been back since the radio days. You must not have to work tomorrow.
I like the TV. You guys, who's that? Dean Martin up there?
Yeah, Dino's up on the side. Here, check him out. Look at that. Dino, he sings for us. Huh? Come on. Only here on our show you can get Dean Martin singing from the dead. What's up, man? Come on. Do some rant. I know you got a lot to say. I can tell already in your voice.
I got a lot to say about this Ray Rice. Hypothetically speaking, one of the Eagles quarterbacks go down this week. Anyone. Pick one.
Okay.
You don't think the Eagles are going to offer him a contract?
What, to be a quarterback?
No.
No.
Running backs
No.
go down.
No.
Let's just say McCoy goes down. You don't think they're going to run to Ray Rice and say, hey, how about
No. Because you're going to ask for a ton of cash, first of all. And second of all, the Eagles got backs. They got running backs.
Two backs, but not as good as McCoy. He can't pound the ball. Ray Rice can pound the ball, and he can break it for the long
Listen.
And so it begins.
Do we know he can, though? He
so it begins. Nobody cares as long as my team wins. I don't care. Here's the thing. It's fine. I mean, like, if this was anybody else, take Ray Rice, take the fact that he's an NFL player out of the equation. If a guy beats his wife or smacks his wife, he does what he gets in trouble. He goes through all that bullshit. It's done. It's over with. But because he's high profile, we're the ones, not the cops, not the NFL. Nobody else is keeping this alive but us. If this was anybody, Joe Schmo on the street, he would go to work. He might have his job. He might not have his job. But guess what? He'll go and go out and get another job. Unfortunate that his frame is only 26 teams. That's it. That's his career right here. This is his profession.
We gave Vic a contract when nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
And proof. So is it okay to sign Vic and not so okay to sign Rice?
No, I'm not saying either one.
I'm like your dog better than you like your wife?
No. No, because I know she's watching.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that, look, there's 4 teams out there, 4 or 5 teams will sign this guy right now who need running backs. A team that's got a running back's not going to sign a whatever. I mean, and you can't play this game worrying about who's going to go down in this league. All right, just the way it is. I mean, quarterbacks, running backs, whatever. You can't base on. You're going to spend multi-million-dollar running back. That's what he is. He's a free agent now, right?
He wouldn't be He wouldn't be though, because he's looking for an opportunity. He'll take a 1 year
deal,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
1 year.
It's going to take a 1 year, right? Hey, Ray Rice he's a great running back, okay? And anybody could use any team could use him right now. Ask Peyton Manning if he wouldn't want to have Rice in his backfield right now because he's struggling. Although,
and that's the point. Games. He paid his dues. He got whether or not how would you like it if somebody said to you, Andre, you can't. Doesn't matter. I don't care. You're not allowed to be a chef no more. You can't do this just because I'm eliminating all your job offers. Just because you did something that you've already paid your time for. I don't
agree.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the whole point of it. This is getting so blown out of proportion now. I don't think they should have suspended threw him out of the game for a period. If he pays the same thing as Vic, he paid his time. I don't want him to he deserves a break. I just wish it wasn't with my team. That's the whole thing.
Here's the thing. I don't care. I don't care what these players do. I'm there to watch a football game. All right. I don't care what they get paid. I don't care what they did. I didn't care about what Vic did. What they do, if we're not going to work, and we'll get into the St. Louis Rams crap too. If they're not going to care, what they do off the field, and if we're going to care, I don't know how to put this.
No, you're right.
I don't care if on the field. I don't want to know about your personal life on the field. I don't ask freaking Robert De Niro the fuck he thinks about when I'm watching one of his movies. Okay? So I don't care about these football. This is my entertainment. I'm tuning in on Sundays to watch games. I don't care about their personal stuff. Okay? If they break the law just like anybody else in this world, you go to the jail. That's it. Because you make millions of dollars. Okay, you're just going to get a better lawyer. You might not have to serve as much time because you got cash. But the bottom line is, you did something wrong, you go to jail. I don't want to hear about, the fact that you're a football player. And we might as well get right into the Rams stuff right now. Because as I'm looking at these four idiots come out, and I'm calling them idiots, and I don't care. I don't even know what they stood for when they came out. Okay, and the NFL didn't understand what they stood for either because they weren't sure how to put it out there. At first, they're like, in the beginning of the 1 o'clock games, Fox reported, 4 of the St. Louis Rams players came out with their hands up in solidarity for Ferguson. What does that mean? Is it for the cops? Is it for the looters? Is it for Michael Brown? Okay, who is it for? Is it for the justice system?
Is it for the shop owner he robbed right before he got shot? I don't know.
And it's not like Boston Strong here or 9/11 like they're trying to do it. It seems like when any city has a situation, and this ain't St. Louis, this is Ferguson. Okay, this is like Bensalem, Philadelphia, even further away. So it's like every situation means everybody has to come together. I don't come together with people who loot and burn down their neighborhoods. Okay, I don't come together with people who don't obey the laws or listen to the cops. Could the cop have been wrong? Fine. We went through our system. Our system said the cop was okay.
Due process.
Due process. End of story. O.J. Simpson got off. I didn't run around burning my neighborhood down.
Why not?
Come on.
Because you're not an idiot. That's why.
Yeah.
You're not an idiot.
Yeah, it's not about being an idiot. It's about what gets promoted when something like this goes down. You get the Al Sharpton and all the people coming down promoting all this chaos and commercial because it helps them, gets them on TV. You know what I mean? But what I don't want, and I don't want to get into that part because we're talking about a sporting event here. I don't need the NFL dictating to me what goes on in my life anymore. I don't want to hear them telling me about wife beating. Okay, NFL is not going to change my view of wife beating one way or another. Okay, because they have the platform, the power, the money, and the so-called stars that can get on a commercial and say, no more, we're not going to take it anymore. I don't want to hear that from him. I want to hear it from a fireman, a cop, a husband, a guy that owns a store down the street. I don't want to hear it from NFL players. I also don't want to see NFL players tell me what they think about Ferguson. I couldn't give a crap what 4 defensive ends or linebackers or quarterbacks think about what went on in Ferguson because they're St. Louis Rams football players. I'm supposed to pay attention.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're asking people to pay attention to what we're saying about the same exact situation. So,
no, but
I personally don't care what they think, but to say like, oh, they shouldn't be talking about it. They have the right to talk about it just like we're talking about it.
Okay, I understand.
But this is our platform.
Yes.
The NFL platform is I want to see you tackle guys, score touchdowns, earn me some money.
If the NFL is promoting their thoughts and opinions, and yes, I agree with you. If you're just saying, oh, they shouldn't be talking about it, that I don't agree with that.
No, I think the platform that they're using, okay? I mean, with the you might have a point there. With the Rams situation is a little different than the commercial. But the commercial,
I saw the commercial. Everyone like crying and. You
Yeah,
talking
it's
about the domestic violence commercial?
Yeah,
Yes.
domestic.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awkward.
Yeah, awkward, very awkward. Yeah, I don't. And you know what?
Staged.
That's staged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
That's
Don't
the word
stage.
you're looking
This is
for.
not. This is not a movie. Okay,
Yeah.
this is not a movie where something happens. This is real life stuff. But the NFL, I mean, the NFL is so messed up where they stand with everything. Roger Goodell didn't even say anything about this. He didn't say nothing about the St. Louis crap either. He don't know what to say anymore. He doesn't know what's right and
He
wrong.
knows just to be quiet at all times.
He has to
Right
be
now,
quiet
you
at
have
this
to.
point because this might be a black eye. If one of those guys say, yeah, we can't, when you come out holding your hands up for solidarity and Ferguson, I'm thinking hands up, don't shoot.
That's what they said.
Okay. Well, were they telling me that young kids or anybody in Ferguson should learn that they should put their hands up instead of going back at the cop? Is that what it means? Or is it, put your hands up so they don't shoot you? Well, yeah, actually, they both mean the same.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you're putting it out there.
It's all perspective. The problem is we had just mentioned this word due process. It seemed like the end result didn't matter though. It doesn't matter for
Chef, you still
anything.
there? I think you hung up.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, you're still there. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That got me in a rant. You know what happens when I get into a rant. I forgot you even on the phone. I'm sorry. You got anything else to say before I hang up on you?
I'm just glad to see Dino on the show. He hasn't said much.
Yeah, my man, pots and pans. Let me give you a little round from Dino. Let's hear him. Okay, you guys ready? It's my favorite part. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with his. Hear that? There's something wrong with his dentures. Hear it? They clicking. I gotta fix his teeth. So I gotta get him braces.
Oh God.
Ding a ding ding. Hey, Andre, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling. It's about time, man. You know, a little support here, buddy.
I do want to get back to something you mentioned earlier back with the Ray Rice
Did you
thing.
hang up? Good.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Who knows?
I couldn't agree. Really couldn't agree more with what you're saying about you. I don't care as a fan. I don't care what you ever did. I really don't care if you punched
None of my business.
if you punched your grandmother, your kid, your who you punched. Because when you're on the field, if let's just say you mess up again and you disgrace the team or who cares? I'm a fan. I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm not the front office guy who needs to take the flack when you mess up again. I'm just a fan. So as long as you win on Sunday or Monday or Thursday, that's all I care about.
My whole beef about the damn thing is if you accept the end result in one situation because of due process, you have to accept the end result in the other situation as due process. I'm very happy. Not happy. I'm just glad that Ray Rice is coming back because the system works.
I hope he's coming back.
Yeah,
He
well,
hopes
he's
to come
coming back. Somebody will get him
Yeah.
because he paid his dues. He served his time.
He's still young. He's
Mike
only,
Vick paid his dues, served his time. I'm fine with it.
Mhm.
You know, whatever happened with this cop, boom, boom. They figured everything out. They supposedly figured everything out. I'll say that. The grand jury did, so I have to accept that. Okay, everybody looked in it. They figured it out. Move on.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Unfortunately, it's not that simple.
But-
I wish it could be.
But that's my problem in the whole thing. I know there's very drastic ends of a situation,
Mhm.
but it's all two words: due process,
Mhm.
and that's what gets me excited about everything.
Well,
Boy,
once again, it's the NFL. We call, as we always say about the NFL, it's the WWE, and every week it just proves me right. It's the chaos and the commotion that goes on in the NFL week to week that has nothing to do with what goes on the field.
Sometimes it just seems scripted, just like
It's the
wrestling.
same script, you know. And that's the thing. NFL, they just try to stay out of trouble.
Mhm.
You know, go for a couple weeks without any controversy or trouble, and they can't do it. And for some reason, you know, it's good for them. It's good for the NFL. They're all over the place as far as they're concerned about their name. I'm not even sure if they care about the product on the field anymore.
No.
Seems to me that it's just the brand itself, the NFL. We're football. We're against domestic violence. We're against beating kids. We're soft on pot, but we hate hard drugs.
No, we're hard on pot.
I'm just saying.
You
we're hard
smoke
on pot.
one joint, you miss 10 games.
That was my thing. We're soft on pot. You know.
and we give to 3-4% of all those jerseys, those pink jerseys we sell. We give that to breast cancer.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
3 or 4%.
That's
Yeah?
another story. And we're speaking of breast cancer, we're going to get a site because we're going to have our own little site here for we're going to support breast cancer, supports Goombahs, Goombahs, we're called. We're going to have pink T-shirts to give away. You donate to cancer and to breast cancer, and you get yourself one of our Sports Goombahs pink shirts or pink. We're going to have those little, what do you call it? Those little string, what do you call it?
Lanyards?
Yeah, little girl ones. What do you call them? Spaghetti straps.
Okay.
Spaghetti straps. So
Talking about like the keychain thing.
yeah, we'll get them too. We'll get lanterns. We'll do that about the first of the year.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Don, but I had seen articles relating this week saying that they're trying to remove him from the whole disciplinary process, the whole NFL.
And, and you're right. They should have a guy like the NHL has their guy.
Brendan.
Yeah, Shanahan. I haven't heard much from him lately. But in baseball, who's that? Somebody does it in baseball, I think.
Who, the player?
Oh, yeah.
Tony
No, the
Clark?
disciplinarian.
I don't
yeah.
know who that is.
I mean,
The guy that lays their smackdown that makes the rulings on all the and
I
whoever it
don't
is
know
is
who it is.
in a MLB.
basketball,
they're
NBA,
harsh.
NBA has it too. You
Yep.
know, NBA, I think actually the NBA, the not the commissioner, but the vice commissioner, what do you call it?
Assistant commissioner?
Yeah, whatever.
Deputy commissioner.
Deputy commissioner has that rule on NFL, I believe, for the most part. So, anyway, be it as may, that's where the NFL sits right now, and I'm sure this is not over. Because I definitely want to hear. I got to hear from Goodell. I just want to hear what he has to say about this.
Just keep waiting.
Some people said that
He's
those
not
four,
talking.
those four guys, and I believe I have their names down here. Who the guys were? I think it was Jared Cook, Kenny Britt, Stedman Bailey, Chris Givens, and Trayvon Austin. And I don't know, did they concur with the rest of the team on this stuff or anything like that, or is this a whole team thing?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you do that, I mean, you better. Hey, look, we're going to do this. You might want to give us some space. Don't come out with us. And it looked like, I don't know, they didn't play the whole thing, but like, I mean, it could feel very awkward for people, other members of the team that, like, if you didn't know this was coming, you're like, what the hell are they doing?
I mean, you can look at look at Charles Barkley came out with something like this. He called Ferguson the looter scumbags. His whole thing was forget what really happened. The fact is what you did afterwards is what made the whole thing a mess. I mean, this is 2014. We don't have to do that type of thing. You don't have to burn your neighborhoods down. You don't show, disgrace like that. There's a way to, like Barkley says, it's process. The due process happened. It is what it is.
I don't get what do you plan on accomplishing by doing that?
I cannot get. There's this one image of one guy running out with like a whole bunch of sneakers in his hand, and he's got a big shit-eating grin. I mean, and there are other pictures that I swear to God, I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Somewhere bombing happened again, and I'm looking at freaking Ferguson because the people got their faces wrapped up because look. If you're caught up in the heat of the moment is one thing, but for me, I'm watching you. You wrap the friggin' towel around your head, a mask, and all that shit. That's not protesting.
Grab yourself a TV.
That's not protesting. That's
start Black
premeditated to me. That's premeditated. I'm gonna go out and do something bad. I don't want people to know who I am.
Okay, let's get off that Christmas shop stuff. All right, let's get right to what we should be talking about is the what I call is the chip potato perfect game. That's what he did on Thursday. He put together the perfect game. He came out of the chute. He ran that ball down Jerry Jones and the boys and didn't know what to do in the first quarter of that football game. Their whole defensive game plan was shot. Everything was out of realm. The Eagles had that game won in the first period. As soon as that first quarter was over, it was over. It was done. Dallas was dribbling their fingers in their mouths. And the excitement of that football game, and I remember B, you said 2 weeks ago, last week on the show, that the Eagles weren't exciting. It's not that exciting. You can't get a better Thanksgiving Day football game to come out there and put together that performance in Dallas on a day where they're supposed to win because Thanksgiving is in Dallas and Detroit, and that's where they do their thing. And you screwed their entire dinners up. You blew it for that whole team and all the fanfare. It was supposed to be Fox had it down. It was going to be Tony Romo. Okay, and who's running back?
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray going to be sitting there with the turkey thing in their hand, and they were going to be the ones that would be
galloping gobbler.
Right, they're going to eat the gobbler, and that all got blown out of the way 5 minutes into that football game. The defense was balls on. I mean, the defensive line, you can't play a better game than they played. And I was totally wrong. I thought Romo was going to torch that secondary. I really did.
You know what?
As much as I hate
Exactly.
the mofo, I thought he was going to torch that secondary.
You have good reason to
They
believe
shit
that.
the bed too. Dallas was just absolutely horrible.
No, I don't think so.
I
That's
think
why
they were.
I disagree. I just think they were outplayed and out-schemed. Just because a team gets beat that bad doesn't make the team that lost horrible. They just got outplayed. They were outplayed. They were covered. They were beat. They were beat on the snap. They weren't prepared for the fast offense at all.
I just like the fact that they actually blitzed. They blitzed a lot.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean.
And that was, to me, I look back at this and I say, okay, I wanted them to win. I kind of was sort of expected them to win because it was Dallas. Everybody's got their juices flowing because it's Dallas. They overachieve? Yes, I think.
Mhm.
Did Dallas underachieve? Yes. To me, this wasn't the best test. So next week is the best test. I want to see what they do.
I disagree. They went to Dallas on Thanksgiving on a team that's been touted as a winner, a Super Bowl contender. This is it. This is like going into Green Bay and winning too. But when you go into Dallas when they're good,
Not as big as Green going.
No, it's not even close.
No, it is close because if you go into Dallas, just like going into Green Bay, you go into Dallas on Thanksgiving when this team is contending. When this team is good, when this team's being told by the NFL and then pushed in our face that this could be a Super Bowl contender, and you go in there on Thanksgiving, it's their day. In Cowboy
Eagles
history,
Day.
No, but my point is, it's their day. Okay, in Dallas. So when you do go in there and you beat them 21-20, okay, you beat the Cowboys. You snipped away at them. Maybe you kicked the field goal. When you go in there and you kick ass and take names on Thanksgiving, it's a whole new ball game. The Birds, they elevated themselves way up there now. Now they're number 3 on the power ratings because of that victory. That's it. They're up there. And you can't take that type of game. This is a game that'll go down in the history when we go back and look at the Mike Vick game. We go back to all those games they have.
Absolutely.
All those plays. This is one of those games. It'd be the Thanksgiving Day Massacre.
What do they? No, I think they're calling it Turkey Day TKO or
whatever.
TKO,
That's
Turkey
whatever.
Day. It's already got a name already. Yeah.
But my point being is this game is it earmarks where this team's at. If they're capable of playing this way against the Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving, they got a shot.
I feel like the game looks more. I feel like it was more of an impressive win on paper. Yes. Like going into a team that's 8-3 and playing well. I think they're 8-3 or something like that. But playing well, that should have been a big win. But maybe it's just me. I'm not. The Cowboys do nothing for me. Like I understand that the NFL is promoting them as a big. And theoretically they are. The record states in their play states they're a great team.
Like Cash, I'm going to quote Cash. It's a stats team, just like their quarterback.
Always have been.
But I don't get like if we went into Green Bay or went into Seattle, even like
look, if we went into beat Green Bay and we lost by like a touchdown or a field goal, that's a win for me. Mm-hmm. That's because then it shows me that they contend. To see the game that they played yesterday is what I kind of wanted them to play on Green Bay. We didn't blitz in Green Bay. We didn't do any of the schemes that we did. Now, I don't know if we're holding that back for some odd reason. He was afraid he was going to get burnt, but he still picked apart the secondary. So regardless, I just think, okay, give me a team that has a little more credibility with Seattle, and I'll measure it in my own sick way of how I think that they measure up. Now I gotta have to say I have to eat my words because they really got a chance at a bye now.
Yeah,
they got a good chance at a bye. Yeah. So
I just feel like the Eagles always, at least maybe recently, they played the Cowboys always like really well.
Yes,
like that Week 17 game last year. It was everything was on the line, but I wasn't like nervous last year Week 17. I wasn't nervous Thursday. There's no reason to be afraid of the Cowboys.
No, absolutely, and that's why he's saying you're touting this team as a Super Bowl contender. I didn't see that. There's nobody I know that was.
The Cowboys?
No.
Oh, absolutely. Come on, B. They did that. 2 weeks ago they had to sit down in front of what's her name, Pam Oliver. They do the sit down with the coach and all that stuff. Now your team is what were they? They were 7-2 or something like that. They just won 5 games in a row. The Beats talking about the Cowboys. I even said on the show, I said that's the kiss of death. It was the kiss of death last year for Andy Reid at 7-0 when he sat down. He sat down with Donovan Nutcakes, who, by the way, called a pretty good game the other day.
I know. I tweeted about that.
Right.
And I was like, Donovan's pretty good at this.
I'm like, damn. It was like
He's pretty good.
He wanted to go back at him.
Anyway, what I'm saying is they touted Dallas as finally being, okay, here the Cowboys have Jerry's going to get his playoff game. As soon as they did that, it started going downhill. They had the injury. They had the win in Europe, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, things started
In
trickling.
Jacksonville.
But let me ask you. I'm going to ask you straight up. Did you think that they were a Super Bowl team?
The Cowboys?
Yes.
No, because I know what they were.
Okay.
They were an 8-8 football team.
That's to me that's
but
the
in the
opinion
realm,
that matters.
but in the realm of the league itself, and you know what? If it's another team, if this is the New York Giants going into Dallas and beating them, nobody gives a damn. It's a fluke. But the Eagles are a contending football team. They're fighting for the division, so it's an important game. It's a game they can't afford to lose because you don't want to have to come back and be one game down and now go have Dallas come into Philly, where if you win, you're tied. Now, if Dallas comes into Philly and they beat Dallas again, now it's over. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
So the importance of the game, regardless, and remember, any given Sunday, for them to win this game. But my thing is not the fact that they beat the Cowboys. They killed them. Yeah. They destroyed them in every facet of the football game.
I didn't expect them to lose, though.
No, but especially with the Cowboys game, but the last 2 weeks, they did exactly what you could have possibly asked them to do. They destroyed both teams, and that's all you can really say. But I said a week or two ago, you can only play who's the next team on their schedule, and the last two teams on their schedule, they destroyed both of them. So they're doing as good as they could possibly do. Like, we can't ask them to do anything better, coming off that that embarrassment in Green Bay.
Yes, and maybe I'm being too much of a Debbie Downer, or maybe I'm hedging my bets. Whatever it is, I sit there, and even if they lose to Seattle, I want to see how they lose. If they lose like San Francisco, then I'm worried. But if they lose by a little bit, I'm not all that worried, because it is any given Sunday, and I think that they get. I'm a little more confident after these last two games than I was before, and I know we can get something out of this.
I think Seattle is. I'm trying to think of the way to describe this. I really do think we should beat Seattle. I don't think we should lose this game at all. I don't think we should.
They can't run with them.
What we've talked about for weeks now is that the Eagles secondary is pretty much garbage, almost garbage. But Seattle has no receivers. We have nothing to fear passing the ball passing wise. And us at home, we can score. Even against Seattle, I think we can score. It's not like this isn't going to be some kind of thing where this isn't last year's Seattle, and it's not Seattle on the road. Those are two completely different things. Seattle on the road and Seattle last year are not Seattle here in Philly this year. That's a very winnable game. Right. To the point where I expect them to win this game.
You watch Seattle and how they're playing. They're not Seattle of last year.
No
way, no shape or form. I mean, they just don't have the offense for it. Not that they don't have the defense anymore. In some games against
it's gotten better.
Inferior teams, yeah. I mean, to me, the 49ers are
against the Niners offense and Drew Stanton, they look great. But then again,
the Niners
not that impressive.
The Niners are a fake anyway. Getting back to the Eagles game itself. I mean, the running game came back. Everything came back. The game, but it was more like I said, it was Chip Kelly's perfect game. I don't know where he messed up in this football game. Timeouts, time control, everything he did. He usually makes one goof a game or something that'll piss us off. This one, I can't find the spot to where he messed up. I mean, he maybe could have pulled his quarterback.
That was like, all right, why is he still in there? Well,
and then another thing, there it is, right there is the read offense. I don't mean any read, because that's not even
the read option.
The read option. Here it is. You got. I hate to say this to you. I hate it because I'm a Folesy guy. I was Foles, but I'm looking at what Chip needs, that ability for that quarterback to have a chance to roll out and cut that corner. He needs that. I hate to say, but he needs what he needs. He needs that quarterback. And Sanchez could be it as far as being at this point. I don't know if he's durable enough. I don't know if this is perfect for Sanchez. This might be his offense.
Yeah. This
could be where he could flourish as an NFL quarterback. I'm not putting him up there. Listen, he went into Dallas on Thanksgiving, man. This is something he could. This is far better than anything he did for the Jets, even in those championship games. He went. Look, you say that. All right, you can make all the faces you want on that stuff.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brady.
I'm not talking about
Brady. He beat the championship AFC with the Jets and the champ. He beat them in Foxborough, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
that
in the
was dead.
snow.
I don't know the weather conditions.
First of all, I'm talking about that's dead at this point right now in his career. This is where it is with him. He's got an offense. That's Jets offense. That Jets team beat a shitty New England team at the year. New England wasn't New England when they beat them. They weren't. They weren't on all cylinders back then. So those Jet teams, they lost their. They lost their championship game because when they got to that point in the AFC, they couldn't win that big game. They didn't have it. It was like Buddy Ryan again, all over again. When Buddy Ryan got to a game that he got outcoached, he was done, just like his freaking son. The same deal. That's just the way it is. You can do what you want. It's the Andy Reid syndrome too. Andy Reid's never going to. He got to a Super Bowl because he beat some weak teams getting there. Okay, but he can't win that.
He
game.
had a stacked team that year.
He should have won 5 Super Bowls with that team.
Yeah.
And then not even that. The way the NFL was then, the NFC East was beat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he had that beat. He had that beat. 5 games in the season, he always had the NFC East done, and the rest of the league really didn't have any competition. And that you're right. That and the teams that he lost, I'm getting on a tangent on him now. He lost to Carolina, Tampa Bay, Arizona, shitty teams that were lucky that year because those teams that beat the Eagles didn't come back the following year to do anything. They won the free. Well, 2 of them won.
We were the favorite of what? Like 3 of the 4 ones we lost.
We
were the favorite.
The Rams were the only one. And the Rams, we were there by accident. It just happened to be McNabb had a great year, and the Eagles got up to a point. 42 yards from the Super Bowl, whatever they want to say, and when they had it. What the hell was that when I got into that? What were you saying? You're pissing me off with
Sanchez.
Sanchez. Sanchez, yeah. I know. This game, yeah, absolutely. This could go in with his championship games because if you look at this game, this victory might be the one that secures that NFC East. Because if they win the Cowboy game, it's done. They don't win this game, and they win the Cowboy game at home. Still doesn't mean anything. We end up going down to the last game of the season game like we do every year with Dallas. They go 8-8, or they go 9-7. It's one way or the other with them. So you look at games, but it's not that. It's the way he played flawless football in this game. He was smart with the ball, okay? I mean, and I'm not pumping him up for the game. I'm not saying this is the answer to Chip Kelly, but he can win with this guy right now. In the NFL, the way it's built right now, he can win with this type of quarterback if he can show that he can turn the corner and get 4 or 5 yards and not worry about and knows how to go down too. I mean, he's a good slider too. So there already he's a good slider.
He went head first a couple of times, made me nervous, but yeah.
But he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, I'm not in love with the guy. He's kind of annoying if you ask me, as a quarterback, but he's doing the job. I mean, this is 2 out of 3 games. He's been good. Actually, 3 out of 4, if you think about it.
4 out of 5, you want to count the Texan game.
Yeah, Texan game, right. So he's doing his job, and he's getting it done, and his passes are there. I mean, they're he's hitting his targets, and that's another thing in the NFL. Like I watched last night, I got Manning just throwing the ball into areas, and guys catching balls over their shoulders, under their shoulders, Manning's got balls when it comes to throwing balls. He puts it there, and it's like, you better catch it. It's almost like the players are afraid not to catch. They spin their bodies in such contorted ways to get that ball because they know they go back to that huddle. I never saw players so afraid of a white man. They are this guy.
Well, look at it. Look, he got the pedigree to do it. He's putting it, and when he throws that ball, he's putting it where only they can get it half the time too. More than half the time. He throws an ugly ball. Some of these times it's spinning and wobbling, but it's where it's either his guy gets it or no one gets it. There's freaking magnets in there.
No, he's got a missile. It's like a missile. He directs it. You know what I mean? But that's how good he is. And you watch Brady get frustrated. This is how you get the Brady, man. You got to get into Brady's head.
Brady can be frustrated.
Yeah.
I feel like Manning, even when Manning's mad, he's not mad.
Same dude. He walks
but you'll see Brady slam his helmet down. You'll see him scream at his coaches. He does that. You can get in Brady's head.
Yep. But I love watching Manning yesterday as his offensive coordinators read what he's showing them on the thing. And you know what? It's funny because stupid me. I loved this game. I didn't like the cold weather. I didn't think I wanted the totals in this. I wanted the totals in this game. And the reason I wanted is because it was Andy Reid versus a good quarterback. And you know how I said for years on the show that whenever Reid comes up against a good quarterback, and God forbid he's behind, because he can't catch up on any quarterback. And I forgot about that rule, and there it was right in front of me. And anytime I see Reid go against the Mannings or Rodgers, or he's going against Brady, you just get on that team, on that side, because he's going to score. And the one thing Reed was never able to do with his football teams, and I think if we go back and we go all the years,
You proved
once he's behind, he can't win. He is a terrible behind coacher. And when he's against a quarterback who's in an upper echelon, the upper echelon quarterbacks, he's dead meat. He's beat Favre a couple times, but to me, and people will yell at me and say, I don't think Favre's in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. I think the type of quarterback he was.
Prime Favre is, but not Twilight Favre.
Yeah, he was, but Favre was a gunslinger. He wasn't a guy that put the ball right in like these guys. Like, he wasn't physically that type of quarterback. He wasn't a technical quarterback. He was, he was
an instinct
quarterback. He's a player.
He was an old school throw-in that played on balls alone.
Right. He's a
ballsy guy.
He's a Johnny Unitas type of quarterback. That thing. And when you look at the Mannings and the Braves, they're more Marino, Stolp. Not even Stolp. I'm going to go back to the days of the 70s, when I was growing up. Who were the quarterbacks that were technical back there? I can't even remember. I mean, Bradshaw wasn't technical. Stolbuck was running around a lot of times.
Bradshaw would be more like a Favre-esque.
I think you got, yeah, exactly. And back in those days, the technical they weren't technical, the quarterbacks back in those days.
They were if you look at it, you compare it to now and then, they were actually kind of sloppy.
I think that Marino was probably the first techno quarterback, so to speak, where he put the ball where he's supposed to be, and the player better get there. Mm-hmm. Where in our days growing up, it was like you lay a bomb out there. You got to run underneath it. The down and out pattern had to be led in front. You never saw the ball was never there. Before he turned around. Yeah,
he was I think the bang bang, like, hey, look, you just got to know it's going to be there. And I think you're right. I think that all started during that time.
I saw Manning throw a pass at Gronkowski. I think it was last night.
Wasn't even looking.
Not Manning. Brady threw a pass to Gronkowski. Yeah, you're right. He was going through the middle of the field, just getting around players. All of a sudden, the ball's there. It's like he hits him. Hits him.
Yeah, you have to be at this spot this time. Turn around, the ball will be right in your face.
And there was a couple of times on was it the Dallas game where you threw it to a spot, and I saw Tony Romo get pissed off a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't totally where the hell was that? Nobody was there.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody broke the wrong way, and so it just goes to show
you. Romo does that a lot.
Yeah,
well, he does that a lot.
Dust his interceptions and he speaks for himself.
I see it happen a lot, and then I think of the receivers he has, and he hasn't really had a. I don't think
what Romo?
Yeah, I don't think he's
had a receiver. That's it.
No,
because Dez is a superstar. He's an absolute monster.
Yeah,
but outside of Dez,
is he technical though?
Exactly. Underachiever. He should be up there with Megatron, and he's not. His head gets in the way.
Oh, he's a head case. He's a head case. But all receivers are kind of.
But that's what I mean. Like, you give me somebody that's just got good hands and runs routes. He doesn't seem like he wants that. He's all about the big play. He wants, and I see that, and I don't want that. You give him a good person like that can run routes, and I don't know. Is he a different quarterback?
He's never had that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when he first came in, I'm trying to think who his wide receivers were.
He's had Roy Williams. I think he had Terry.
Oh,
Terry Glenn.
You know what? Roy Williams. That's who I'm thinking about.
Yeah, he never had anything like. He never had. I mean, no, because Dez really is physically one of the top 3 to 5 receivers in football. He's top, and mentally, he's one of the top 150 receivers in football.
And he's got tight end who's worthy.
Well, let's not get personal now.
I mean, the thing is, Romo, the Cowboys were good enough to win football games. He blew games. He blew playoff chances for this team. He blew it in December. We don't call him Mr. December because he wins. We call him because he loses. December's a terrible time for Romo.
It's not just like a little catchy joke. He has bad record. He has a bad record.
And it continues. And this goes back to when I started picking on the guy 4 years ago, where it was December, and now and then what? It's coming
earlier and earlier.
It's December now, and it's shaping up to be real bad for him coming down the line. Now they're going to throw injuries and this. Well, if he's injured, get rid of him. You got to start somewhere. Get a new quarterback. We almost got to go from Dallas. He's never winning nothing in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He's never winning anything either. So that's the deal with him. You got to get rid of him. I'm saving for Manziel for after the break because this guy's the best. I love this dude. I'm Cash King. I got my chef to the left. Got Mikey Wall next to me. Give us a call, 267-563-2893. Sports Goombahs, live at the 515 studios here in Bensalem, PA, which is in Bucks County. We'll be right back in a couple of seconds.
Hey, it's Pat out of the Sports Goombahs Show. Let me tell you all about our friend Larry Gilman and his company, Larry Gilman Direct. When you need apparel for your business, he is the solution. T-shirts, staff shirts, jackets, hats, banners, and custom welcome mats, and much more. Check out LarryGilman.biz or call 267-908-3863. Hey, and check this out. Larry can set you up to accept credit cards for your company with no equipment charge. That's LarryGilman.biz or call 267-908-3863.
When you need a good roof over your Seal Roofing. They've been keeping folks warm and dry for many years now and are proud of their work. Seal Roofing and Contracting does it all, whether you need simple repairs before the next big rainy season or a whole new roof. Maybe you need new siding or windows. You can be certain that when you hire Seal Roofing, you're hiring the best. Available 7 days a week with 24-hour emergency service and free estimates. Call 215-533-4066. That's 215-533-4066 or visit sealroofing.net.
Stop paying your bookie each week and start collecting. They have the best handicappers in the world, all in one place. And their only job is to win you money. Check Jeff Brandy's and all the experts at trendbetting.com. Trend betting theory is simple. Trends dominate in sports, and you will win in the long run by following the dominant trend. You will lose in the long run if you buck the dominant trend. Simple enough. That's trendbetting.com. Hey, are you paying the piper again? You owe the guy? Busted by the book? Let's end that aggravation right now. BestSportsPicksToday.com. Best Sports Picks Today offers free picks from 50 of the best sports handicappers in America today. Daily selections from NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, MMA, the ponies, and even golf action every day of the week. Best Sports Picks Today not only has few of the best handicappers working for them, we also have the most of the best in the nation working with them. Get you high quality picks for free every day. BestSportsPicksToday.com. Check them out and start winning now. Yeah, welcome back to the show. Cashy King here. I got my chef to the left over here, Brendan B. Like your wall doing the thing. Then it all bounce off him back onto me, and then I flick it onto the B. That's how we deal at the Sports Goombahs. What's the score at a football game right now?
Check it right now. 10-0 Jets.
The Jets. Jets. Where's my man Jeff Brandy? Should be calling in soon. Well, I don't know. He might be just listening. He loves those Jets, man. He loves. I was hoping they'd lose this game because I thought if they lost this football game at home, this would be the end of Rex. They would just push them right out the door there, right out of the stadium, right out into the
the parking lot into the river.
On 95 and send them down back to wherever it is he came from.
They're not going to lose if the Dolphins have 2 carries in the first half.
Yeah, what's wrong with the Dolphins?
How's that possible? They're a
fugazi team. The Dolphins. They make me always. That's good, baby.
I was listening to kind of like the pregame on the way to the studio and like trying to build this up. And I'm like, you can't polish this game up.
Dolphins,
you can't polish shit like this. They're trying to
Dolphins
tell me
aren't bad this year. The Jets are awful, obviously.
Dolphins defense keeping them in the football games,
Dolphins actually aren't bad at all. They should have beat the Packers. The Packers won that last second play with the touchdown pass with like 5 seconds.
Not the Packers,
And the Dolphins were leading the Broncos for most of that game, like 2 weeks ago or so. So Dolphins aren't bad, but I mean,
no, I was talking about the whole Jets aspect of it. Don't try to put a spin on it. Well, yes, I thought Miami should win this, and they probably will win this. I mean, it's still early.
But how many national TV games this year have you seen?
Look at that Jet running back. I had to pick him up.
Who, Ivory?
No, the other dude.
You have?
The other dude.
Who's the other running
Who's
back?
that up here? I don't know.
Powell?
Some guy, man. Who's that guy?
Oh, Chris Johnson.
Yeah, I picked up Chris Johnson. I had no choice. I had no running backs left.
Nah, that's fine.
My running backs are injured or in jail. I got nothing going on here, I'm still hanging in there. I'm hanging in there because
I'm in one fantasy league and I'm horrible because half my team, I had Ray Rice. I had I changed my team to the NFL in honor of our team, and it was horrible. So I don't even watch it anymore.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what I was saying is I had luck. Luck's keeping me in the league. That's what he's doing. He's just burying points here and there, for the most part. Other than that, luck in the Eagles defense, getting sacks and then getting turnovers and that kind of stuff. Other than that, I'd be dead meat with the players that I have. I have an old school player. I got all the old guys. I got Dwayne Bowe. I got Roddy White.
What? Roddy had a good year.
He comes and goes. But I'm saying I have the old school. I have the guy that's been around too long, just picking players that Junior. Call me on the phone during my draft. As I'm drafting, I'm calling him on the phone and I'm saying, Mike, and he's giving me obscure players who ironically got huge points.
Yeah,
I couldn't hang on. He's got some Cleveland wide receiver I never heard of. He's got one leg and half a finger, and the guy's scoring touchdowns. How does he know this? Who's the quarterback for the Bears?
The quarterback?
Yeah, what's
Cutler.
his name?
He's awful.
Junior told me he was a stud a couple years ago.
He's loved him for
He's loved him for
10 years.
He's just misunderstood.
He just says stud. Oh, he's a stud. Oh, man, he's a stud.
Because he's like Favre. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
But he's not like
Not in this NFL. He ain't stud. He's gonna be put out the stud tune this year after Chicago. I don't know about that. Anyway, this is the pick session. This is where I try to earn you a few dollars. And lately I have been running an 8-4, actually an 8-4. Now I'm down to 9-6 after last week. Got a little beat up last week. Got the Thanksgiving Day game. And if you were with me, for the rest of the week, it was a pretty good week for me. I actually won 6 in a row. A lot of hockey action, a lot of football side totals. Yes, there's 4-0 in side totals on the NFL. The only one I didn't have was that the late game with Manning, which I should have. It was on my list, but I didn't do it because I got scared away by the cold. I don't know why I do that with the NFL. And these guys can play whenever. Just for some reason, I thought it'd be a ground game, but then I forgot that Manning doesn't have a ground game. So
Manning? Peyton?
Yeah.
This running back's been killing it for 2 straight weeks.
Well, but by accident.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going against the Kansas City defense, which is pretty good.
Yeah, they are good.
But you can't. Andy Reid. You can't script it. Andy Reid loses football games for his team. It's unbelievable. This guy, as the coach, manages to lose games for his team by just management of the whole game itself. Throwing the ball constantly. And short plays. It's like he's running the ball more this year than he ever did.
Well, he's got one of the best running backs.
Yeah, and even though it probably kills him because he loves to throw the ball. Anyway, I had Detroit on Thanksgiving. And we had the Eagles Dallas. I had the over 54 last week, which was a loser because Dallas didn't help me out at all. I mean, come on, Tony, throw a couple balls in the end zone for me.
Couldn't get any garbage. Garbage touchdowns.
Not a garbage touchdown, nothing. What a debacle, Who would have thought that I had an over 54? I got 38 from the Eagles, right? Was that they called 38, 35, or whatever they scored? They were in the 30s. 33, and I get 10 from Dallas. I would have never thought that. It was an easy play. When I said last week, easy play. This thing's going to be a track meet, is what I said.
I thought you had a shot at over 60.
Well, when I said track meet, and then the Eagles came out there, and they were track meet, and they were running up and down the field. I didn't know that Dallas would get blown away. And the other guy, I gave you a Tuesday night game, Vancouver at New Jersey. I had the over 5 in this one, no loser. And Vancouver managed to get 2 goals in a game that I had to sit and watch, which was, I don't like to use cliches, but paint drying was what this hockey game was about in Vancouver. New Jersey didn't even play, whatever it was. So I gave you 1 and 2 last week, in which if you're paying your bookie,
it is our fault.
It's our fault, But once again, too many plays lose too many ways. And this is their pick session is brought to you by Sir Dustless. You know those guys. Give them a call, 888-336-1770. That's 888-336-1770. Sir Dustless. They do hardwood floors, installation, sand and refinishing. And the reason they say dustless is because they don't provide you with dust, which is the worst thing you could have when you're having your floors done. Give my man Christy Andrews a call, 888-336-1770. Check them out at sirdustless.com. Also brought to you by TechZap. Our boy Brian, who controls our show and does our website, does a great job. Give him a call, 215-380-9070. That's 215-380-9070. 9070. This man gets it done when it comes to websites. All right. This week it's a tough one. The card's tough this week. Look at a couple NFL games. New Orleans. Where's New Orleans at? I don't even care where they're at. I'm at the over 28.5. Where they at? Where do they write down New Orleans at here? Find out.
Where are they?
Yeah, where's New Orleans? They're home against somebody.
I'll pull it up.
Or are they away? Jeez, I'm unprepared here.
New Orleans is playing Carolina.
That's right, Carolina. That's what I thought. Carolina. New Orleans and Carolina, and I like New Orleans. They look like they're excited because they actually have a chance to make the playoffs. Sitting at 4-7.
They're 5-7. They won this week.
5-7, and you're at the top.
And they're leading your division.
You're leading your division, and quite frankly, it's an embarrassment. I think at this point, I don't know any other way to put it.
Well, I was watching I don't remember what game it was, but they put the graphic up towards the end of the game of the playoff rankings and in the hunt. And in the hunt, I see none other than the 2-10 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the fact that they are still technically in the hunt is just pathetic.
It's disturbing.
2-10, they're still in the hunt. They're only 3 games back.
Well, yeah.
And they would have been 2 games back if they didn't blow the game late.
Not to get off the subject, but this is what the NFL wanted, and this is what they have now. I mean, this is the way the league is, and this is why every year every team has. You don't have to run. Used to be in the old days, you run the ladder. You get into the playoffs, you lose the wild card. Next year, you come up there, maybe you win the division. You got a playoff at home, you won or lost that one, and then you got knocked out by the next team. And in the third year, you were just about ready to do what you needed to do to get there, and that's the way it was. Now it's a 2-year run. It's show me what you have, then next year you get it.
It's parity. You just a year.
You sold Andy Reid. Andy Reid came in 99, had a terrible season, and next year he made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Chip Kelly, well, forget about it. You know what I mean? He broke the mold, whatever he's done. By the way, did you see any huddles yesterday in the NFL when you're watching games, or the camera's just not showing you the huddle? Everybody's even though
a lot of them are doing the huddle, but it depends on the situation. Obviously, if Josh McCown's your quarterback, you're going to huddle.
Yeah, but it's like almost, and it's even I watched even watching Manning and Brady both yesterday, and even Aaron Rodgers too. Now it's not like a huddle anymore. They're not getting in a circle. They're like they come together like a meeting real quick, and then they spread back out. Mm-hmm. So there's no that. Everybody's got time on that clock. You should not see a delay game call in the NFL anymore. You haven't seen much of them.
Half these quarterbacks have their own offensive coordinators, so you don't need to huddle. I
know, and at 15 seconds in your ear, they're telling you at the 15 seconds they got cut off, but they're telling you what's going on, and but still, none of them are doing what the Eagles are doing with that sideline crap. Where everybody's doing dance over there.
I heard you were listening to Chip. I was listening to Chip's thing today, and I heard the most amazing thing. I don't want to cut you off, but he says in practice they go so much faster.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, how do you go much? Because they know where they're going to put the ball already. And in practice, they strive to get. I've
been down to their practice. I see what they do. It's almost like it's like each group has a coordinated movement. You see the movements of the players in different parts of the field as they're going around. It is what it is. It's a total endurance thing. That's what it is here, and that's the key to his offense. He's outplaying the teams. He's whittling everybody down by the end of a football game. I mean, the Eagles are complaining they're beat. Well, some of them are. Some are tired, but the majority of the Eagles situation is at the end of a football game, they're not dying out. Even in the Packer game, they didn't die out. They were still playing the game. You physically could see it come.
Well, anyway, I was going to say, so they always say, they always want to slow, like, you want to not slow the game down time-wise, but like mentally, if you slow the game down and let it, you'll play better. I
liked how he didn't let off. The whole Dallas game, they were playing.
Well, before he did, no, he tried to go to the running game at the end there. He decided he was going
under the last 3 minutes. Though, when it was a chance, no chance of them even coming back.
They ran the ball more because obviously ran the ball more. Shady got over 150 yards, so they ran the ball more. But he had some nice breaks. Anyway, back to the games. New Orleans Saints. I like the over 28 in this one. I think it's an easy hit for them. 4 touchdowns for them, and this one should be no brainer. They're on a mission to make the playoffs as the worst team ever. With the worst record ever.
Well, I'm looking at their record, and I pulled up their opponents. They could finish 500.
No, they can't. You don't know. With them, they're not that good. They're not that good, and they got lots of problems on that sideline there. They got coaching problems. They're screaming at each other the whole game. If you watched that yesterday, Sean Payton was screaming at everybody, and they were coming back at him. So there's dissension on that sideline, which is another reason they're 5-7 at this point, or 5.
Because they're frustrated because they shouldn't be 5-7.
Right.
It's better than a 5-7 team.
Yeah. No, it's not. You are what your record says you are.
I know. No,
because
the Cardinals aren't a 9-3 team, whatever they are.
Yeah, okay. And the Cardinals, you're going to see them as they're going to go through the 9-3, 9-4, 9-5, and they might lose their top
they
spot.
might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, they could. They very well.
Shot,
what they're looking at, they could. I like Detroit on the side total. I think they're playing. I got to write down who they're freaking playing. Oh, Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay's done for the year. Although, actually, they might still have a shot for the playoffs.
They're in the hunt.
They're in the hunt. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Which I like Detroit. I like Detroit at home always. Megatron starting to play good. Stafford is his own worst enemy most of the time, but they're good for maybe 4 touchdowns that game. The under and over in this thing should be at 22, could be 23 on it. I don't have exact because they're not out yet, but I'm looking at the game total 48 on that one. So I'm figuring that's pretty close. I'm sorry, 42 on that one. So that should be pretty close. Got a couple basketball games that I like on this one too. I got to also have Denver, the Broncos over 29. Manning's a little angry. This is what happens to him when he doesn't play a perfect game. He plays a good game, but he doesn't play a perfect game. He usually comes back and destroys whatever gets on the field against him the following week. So, and who is that?
Buffalo.
Ooh, the Bills. Tough Bills. That in Buffalo? No, that's in
Tampa. Oh, it's in
Denver. Forget it. Buffalo's going to Denver and doing anything. Yeah. That's over.
29.
They made a boost that up to 35.
You don't trust Kyle Orton on the road against Denver?
Who? It's not the point. I mean, Buffalo's got good defense.
Yeah, they do.
They're up and coming defense. But once again, you're going into a place with a quarterback who's one of the best, and the team's working. They need this game. Okay, this is not like they can afford to lose a game at home. There isn't even a money line on this one yet, but there is a total on it, and I like that the side total, which would either be 29.5, maybe 30. The actual total's down pretty low. I think it's 48 on this one too, which is odd, but because what are they going to have Buffalo at 21? So that's the total on this one's low because it looks like they're telling us that Denver's going to do all the scoring, and that's about it, which is probably true. A couple of hockey games this week. I like Detroit tomorrow over Florida. Lay to 200. Detroit is the new hot team in hockey right now. Okay, they're Cassidy King's new Dow Jones playing. Okay, they've won 5 in a row, and they're playing Detroit hockey. Okay, it's Hockey Town, and they're playing like that now. I've always talked about Detroit and the way they play. They are a system hockey team, and they're clicking right now. And if you close your eyes and listen to a hockey game in Detroit, you can hear the clicking as it's from stick-to-stick passing, and they're playing well, and they're getting good goaltending. It's a bad spot for Florida. That's a game I like. Lay a deuce to win one or whatever you can do. It's worth it. The other one, San Jose is going to host the Philadelphia Flyers, too. I guess a Wednesday. That's tomorrow night, too, as well.
Night, yeah.
And, the Flyers, I think the last time they beat San Jose, they won. But right now, this team is a mess. I don't know what else to tell. Watching Flyers hockey right now, being here from Philly, is just too damn hard. Okay, it's not worth my time right now. No one can score goals, and they're back to playing sloppy hockey where they're just skating all over the place. Once again, I'll compare them to Detroit. You close your eyes, listen to a Flyers hockey game, and you don't hear nothing. You hear glass tingling, you hear fans booing, and the rest whistle blowing for icing calls, and that's about it. San Jose, they have a rough defense too. They're giving up goals, but 2.5, maybe 3 on this one. If you see a 3.5, even like that too, it's a bad spot for the Flyers going out there to San Jose, who's a good scoring team right now. That's up goals themselves, but I don't care. I don't care who wins or loses. I'm talking about goals. Got the Saints over at 28.5. I think Detroit over 22. And Denver over 29. These are all side totals. They're not on the board yet, and they will be at the end of the week, but these are the closest I can say to those numbers. Regardless of what those numbers, the overs are to play. Detroit laid 200 over Florida tomorrow, and San Jose and over 2.5 or 3 or 3.5 goals, whatever comes out. Just take the over because I think San Jose might score 5 or 6. It's just that spot for the Flyers as they go for their 7th in a row on the losing side.
Yep.
These praise reports you again, once again, by Sir Dustless and my man Brian at TechZap. All right, let's get back to where we were before. Let's finish up on some of this NFL crapola. Eagles got Seattle on deck, which like we spoke about before. It's going to be another test for them. Everything's a test. Every football game's a test. What are you going to do about that? That's the way it is in the NFL. Manziel got into a football game. Johnny Manziel got in a football game, and everything stopped in the NFL. I mean, I'm watching the game. There's newsflash. Manziel's in the game. The only thing they didn't do is put Jimmy Johnson's head in the corner, telling me Manziel was coming in, and it's like the Manziel era has begun. I'm like, what?
Yep.
He comes
I'm looking
in,
at it right here.
No, that's
Headline.
yeah, and it's like the NFL starving for this stuff now. They need this and this isn't even positive shit. The Manziel era has started. He is what he is, man. He's chaos and commotion, and is what the NFL doesn't need. He comes in there, and what I would have loved to have seen is him going back to throw and chucking down a bomb or a 30-yard bullet to a wide receiver on the move going into the end zone. But no, what do I see? I see him running around like a nut, running in the end zone, getting a touchdown the way he did in college, which shows me nothing. And then he comes back and fumbles the football. I think they scored a touchdown on the fumble or whatever. He did something stupid. And he doesn't even look right back there. He doesn't even look like a pro quarterback back there. He doesn't look like he get it from snap from center. He doesn't look like from the shotgun. And he can twist those fingers all he wants, man. I think he's got an itch on them fingers. Maybe you're going to get him fingers checked out.
I just look at his number, and I think number 2. And that's what he is. She's shit. Number 2.
Yeah, he is. And if Hoyer's having a bad season or he's starting to go down, Hoyer's still a capable quarterback. He showed he can still play in this league. He's just, he's not. Once again, he's young. Okay, he's young in this league. To give up on him already and say, okay, now let's put Manziel because he's not doing well. That's what the problem with the NFL is. You don't get a chance. If you show any kind of positive where you play well and then you go sour, then they're like, you're done. Bring in the next guy. I know they're dying for Manziel. I know they want to fill the stadium. I know, Manziel brings publicity to Cleveland.
Jersey sales.
Jersey sales. He rivals LeBron James because they're two big names. But once again, Manziel has done nothing in the NFL. Nothing at all to show he has the ability. He is Tim Tebow square without the religious stuff. That's what he is, man. Any way, shape, or form.
God, I want him to start, though.
He is starting.
I want him. I want him in there because you know what? It gives us something every week.
Yeah, not if he gets plastered. There's Manziel on the stretcher. Oh, there goes our next patron saint right out the freaking door. Now who do we got? Romo's getting boring. Manziel can't get on the field. We got to find somebody. Sanchez is doing good, so he's no good. We got nobody out there to pick on in the NFL. It's not a player out there who's annoying anybody. I don't like going to announcers. I mean, for crying out loud, I enjoyed listening to freaking Donovan McNabb call a game yesterday. I was pissed off because I was liking what he was doing.
Hell froze over.
Yeah, hell froze over. Yeah. I'm like, no.
This is the same guy that made you vomit on TV.
What's killing me is this guy. He was good. I was listening to him. He wasn't a bad himself. Mm-hmm. He I don't even know what game he was doing. What was I watching?
Pittsburgh, New Orleans.
Pittsburgh, New Orleans. He didn't mention the Eagles once. Oh, he did mention the Eagles once. He said something about Andy Reid or something like that when he played against New Orleans or something like that. But he wasn't self-indulging. He was actually
he brought good points. He was actually very good. I enjoyed him.
See, I missed all that.
I had to turn the volume down. I was getting so angry. I was like, I can't, no. And I ripping him on social media like McNabb. When are they going to get rid of this guy? He's like the Sarah Palin of the NFL. He just won't go away. They put him on Fox Sports. They put him on this show. They let him do analysis on that. And everywhere, as a chef would say, shit the pan or shit the bed. What is it you say?
Shit the bed.
Shit the bed. Well, bedpan if you're an old guy, right? So
diapers if you're an old guy.
What I'm afraid of, and I'm not afraid of, is that McNabb, he elevates himself now. Before you know it, I'll be with Joe Buck. I'll be McNabb and Buck soon. God forbid.
See, here's the worst part. I actually enjoy Aikman.
I enjoy Aikman.
I like him. Talking about all the. I hated him when he played, but he's actually
always been good.
He's good in the booth. Yeah,
Aikman's a smart dude. Okay, he enunciates real well. He projects what he feels, and he's definitely not a Dallas homer either.
He's not.
He's in Cowboyville, man. He rips everything, and I don't think he's a Jerry Jones fan.
I
I don't-
can't see how he is.
Well, you know, not that he shows. I can tell by some of his conversation. I don't think he's a fan. You know, not like Michael Irvin is. There's another one, man. I watch Irving. What's he on the NFL channel now or something? I don't.
He's
shows up.
still on ESPN, I thought, right?
It's ESPN, yeah.
I thought he
And
was.
He
I think he
he
was.
loves to hear himself talk. He has that yelling, and he's sweat pouring off him. He's screaming in the thing, getting his point across. But getting back to McNabb, yeah, it was a shocker, man. Definitely.
It was a shocker when it was a couple weeks ago. I was watching the Red Zone and they cut to like the worst game. It was probably like, I don't know, probably the Jags against somebody. And I hear Tom McCarthy calling NFL games.
Oh yeah. McCarthy calls him. Yeah,
Tom McCarthy.
He took over for Harry Callis when he used to do that. He used to do it on the Westward One radios and did some of the TV for them too as well. He's got that voice.
Yeah,
he's got that. He's got
a decent voice for that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that really it feels very awkward when they're doing the shows now. When did they start getting up and standing there with footballs in their hands, and they were showing the whole view of them standing up? I feel like, well, what's the purpose of that? They're all standing
pregame?
there. And I guess right before the game starts or at halftime or whatever, you got 4 guys standing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. All I kept watching was Howie Long, like do the 2-step. He couldn't sit still. He couldn't fidgeting. Guys, hands here, hands there. Nobody looked comfortable. The whole damn thing looked awkward, and I felt like nobody knew what they were going to say because they were so worried about standing. Or one spot. It's just the whole thing. It looked very stupid. I don't get it. What happened to that? We had talked about it. They got a nice little desk or something like that. And
it's the show now. It's the show. Here's the thing. The reason it's like that is because now they're all players. Okay, they're all ex-players are doing all the shows now. There's no more. Very rarely are you seeing the so-called MC anymore. It's all players, and they're all showing what they do and how it's done.
James Brown?
James Brown. There's one. Just James Brown is left, and then
Who's the other guy?
what you call it? Brian Gumbel's brother.
Not Greg.
Greg Gumbel. He does a terrible job on that show. Oh man, he looks awful too, man. He's
I was just about to say that.
He's got 100 pounds. His head is built. He's like, what happened? And they show him on that side view on the couch. Looks like a clump sitting there.
He's like he got that Chris Farley look. What is it? Your head's too small for your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the MCs are disappearing.
They're all players. Yeah.
It's all play. Even the one, it's like luckily we have the Michael Barkan type player. Where he's on all day emceeing everything. Where their football and sports knowledge is not really important.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they keep the table going. None more than who's the guy who does it for Fox?
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was James Brown. They got rid of him for a younger James Brown.
A younger James Brown, right? Yeah,
James Brown.
and that James Brown's with NBC now.
Yeah.
They traded him. It's like they traded with the other team.
Look that up.
Network.
Look that up on the Fox
pregame.
Fox pregame.
I can picture him. Kurt Menefee.
Kurt Menefee, yeah. Was he a player, Menefee?
I don't think so.
It's got that name. Look at that Menefee. He was a
He does have a
D-back.
name.
He was a defensive back for
He
somebody.
doesn't have a body of a D-back.
Midfield.
Definitely doesn't have a
Menefee.
body of a D-back.
So you look at that, and that day has how many 5 guys on it now?
I don't watch a lot of pregame shows, but it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half pregame show. I mean, it's all the bullshit. Bradshaw's losing it, man. Yeah, he's
I used to watch all the time when I was younger, and it was the 4 of them. It was just JB, Howie, Terry, and James.
Yeah.
Brown.
Now they got the everybody superstar Strahan, who's everywhere now. Today's show, the Regis show, hit Strahan.
Every commercial.
Every commercial. And he's this guy. I got to give it to him, man.
Yeah.
He parlayed himself.
He built a brand.
He built a brand, yeah.
He built the Strahan brand.
It is. He is. And people like him.
Hey, because he's not like a Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin type. Where they're like,
he's approachable.
Yeah, he's like very like, let's say when you say Irvin, he's always just like me.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis is like still like in a player mode.
Yeah.
Strahan's he naturally went from player to like, he just seems like a good TV guy now.
He lost a ton of weight too, man. He's a skinny guy there.
Hey, it's what do you call it? Kurt Menefee. He didn't play. He was a boxer.
Was he really?
Yeah, it seems something to do with boxing, but he just came up. He did radio, went to school for it, and everything.
I like him. Here's the problem.
I like Menefee.
Here's the problem with Fox. They play that music too damn loud. You can't hear those guys talking. It's like music. I'm like, I thought it was my TV set. Maybe my high def is messed up. They play that so loud. It's just, you hear just like the talking is like the background, all that stinking music and electronic players and things going on. It's almost like, it's all production, man. It's the game.
The robots playing football at all times.
The game, the game's 5 minutes long.
I stand corrected. I didn't read that long. He didn't box. He announced boxing. He did on Showtime.
There you go.
And UFC. And then the next thing it says broadcast partners. He has had many partners.
He has many partners.
That didn't sound too good. You might want to review that. But
Wikipedia.
hey, I mean he's with he's broadcasted with a lot of real good guys. I mean, well-known broadcasters, I should say.
Right. Anyway, back to the old the Manziel man. I mean, smoke and mirrors bullshit. That's what this all is. Everything. He's definitely he'll implode somewhere down the line here.
I am interested to see him get a full week of starting reps and a full game plan. Like obviously, when you're just thrown into a losing game in the fourth quarter, you're not going to look great. But
I don't think he's NFL capable. I just don't. He got that doesn't work in the NFL anymore. Because
I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Well, I think he'll be here for a while.
Yeah, well, he might be here, but he's never going to be that guy. I don't see it. Because his type of a player gets picked apart easy in a couple weeks.
Well, and also too, obviously you hear the horror stories. Well, out late doing this, all this.
That don't change. That changes when you're the star.
Whether or not it's true or not, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing: you've already developed a pattern of work ethic. And when you have a bad work ethic, no matter what you do, it doesn't change. He might not be out till 3 a.m, but he's definitely not studying the books.
He's not going to be
and he's not going to be. Yeah, exactly. And that's a red flag, and it's got to be a big red flag. They're probably going, "Oh, what the hell do we get ourselves into now?" Because it doesn't matter. They're pretty much. If he does turn it around, I'll be surprised, but I'm not expecting it.
Well, I just don't see the size, the ability, that type of thing in the NFL. I mean, you look at, is he a running quarterback? Yes, absolutely. And what happens to our running quarterbacks that are under 6'3"? They're done. I mean,
we're still waiting to see Russell Wilson get. He's not playing well, but he's not hurt. Like he's not. With Manziel, you always say he's small, so he's gonna get hurt. Russell Wilson's smaller than Manziel, and he hasn't gotten hurt yet.
Yeah, well, because that whole team is different, and it's starting to show. He's got to start running that ball more and doing what he does.
Well, it's all about your supporting cast too. They had a very good supporting cast.
I think he's a flash in the pan. I really do. Watching him play this year,
Wilson.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be.
Yeah, he's
like a multiple. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl again. I don't think
because he can't. He's not that. He's not that exciting. Number one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like you said, he has a running back who says he's going to retire now.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to be in Seattle or be in football.
He probably wants another contract. He just doesn't want to be in Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's.
So they're messing with him.
Yeah, well, it's Seattle too. Weird things happen. Where things happen.
He spent his whole career in Buffalo and Seattle. I feel bad for him. Can he get some
one 8 feet of snow, the other 8 feet of rain?
Yeah.
There's no chicks.
Of course he's depressed. I would be depressed if I played there. He's gonna go to Cleveland next.
Yeah, well, Cleveland,
Detroit, like
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised at all. But back to the Manziel. I mean, it's I like you said. I hope he does play some games. I throw 7-8 interceptions in the game. Something I can talk about. You know what I mean? Or gets destroyed. I mean, plastered by somebody. Or ticks off the wrong people on the field, which that's what he's going to do. There comes a time when you have to stop with the finger stuff. You know what I mean? That money thing that ticks everybody off. A guy tends, and I know in the NFL you can't hit guys like you really want to, but you can do things. There's ways of getting back at a guy in a pile and whatever it is you want to do. And he's got to mature. And you would think he would have done that by now, being with Cleveland and being on the bench and wanting to get into that spotlight. But I don't think he has it anymore. And when I see him stop doing his finger rub and stuff, then I'll know.
I think he will stop doing it just because he did it when he was in Texas A&M. First of all, he's a child. He's like 19 years old.
Silver spoon.
He was a big man on campus, and they were winning.
Yeah.
Cleveland's having a good year, but Cleveland's not a Super Bowl contender. When you're losing and you're a rookie and you're not going to be doing the fingers, you look like an idiot if you can't do it when you're down by 20.
Well, you can.
You can. You can.
You definitely
You
can.
can. It's just not popular.
We got another segment left. Give us a call, 267-563-2893. It's the Sports Goombahs show. Got the chef to the left and Mikey Walls here. We're going to take a break and pay a couple bills. We'll be right back.
Larry Gilman and his company, Larry Gilman Direct. When you need apparel for your business, he is the solution. T-shirts, staff shirts, jackets, hats, banners, and custom welcome mats, and much more. Check out LarryGilman.biz or call 267-908-3863. Hey, and check this out. Larry can set you up to accept credit cards for your company with no equipment charge. That's LarryGilman.biz or call 267-908-3863.
When you need a good roof over your head, call Seal Roofing. They've been keeping folks warm and dry for many years now and are proud of their work. Seal Roofing and Contracting does it all, whether you need simple repairs before the next big rainy season or a whole new roof. New siding or windows. You can be certain that when you hire Seal Roofing, you're hiring the best. Available 7 days a week with 24-hour emergency service and free estimates. Call 215-533-4066. That's 215-533-4066 or visit sealroofing.net.
Stop paying your bookie each week and start collecting. They have the best handicappers in the world, all in one place. And their only job is to win you money. Check Jeff Brandy's and all the experts at trendbetting.com. Trend betting theory is simple. Trends dominate in sports, and you will win in the long run by following the dominant trend. You will lose in the long run if you buck the dominant trend. Simple enough. That's trendbetting.com. Hey, are you paying the piper again? You owe the guy? Busted by the book? Let's end that aggravation right now. BestSportsPicksToday.com. Best Sports Picks Today offers free picks from 50 of the best sports handicappers in America today. Daily selection from NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, MMA, the ponies, and even golf action every day of the week. Best Sports Picks Today not only has few of the best handicappers working for them, we also have the best in the nation working with them. Get you high quality picks for free every day. BestSportsPicksToday.com. Check them out and start winning now. Yeah, my turkey was so good on Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. Tasty.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Extra
That's what we were
tasty.
talking about in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah. What I did with this turkey, B, and I know I called you up and asked you for stuff, but, I got the breast out, and I cleaned it up there, ran some water down. What I did is I took a big stick of butter. Before I cleaned it up, put a big stick of butter and melted the butter down in the microwave because I wanted to get some of that nuclear power crap in there. And then I drizzled it right down the turkey, right? Drizzled it nice, got it all mushy and everything. Then
Like Kramer.
Yeah, it looked a little bit like Kramer. Yeah. Hey, buddy. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Anyway, I got the sea salts, and I sprinkled that sea salt all around it, and I salted it up nice. Okay, but then I did the kicker. I didn't tell anybody. My mother started eating. She says, it's got a taste to it.
I spit on it.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I blew 2 huge lungers right on it.
No.
What I did was I filled the cavity, wait, you hear this, with teriyaki sauce in the turkey.
Interesting.
And I put just a little bit on the outside, and I cover it up. I put it in the oven. Thank God my mother came over. And she said I had it in there for 3 hours. It wasn't cooking. She got to crank this thing up to 375 and need another hour. And then it started browning. And because my mom walks in the house, it doesn't smell like turkey in this house. I'm like, okay, I like the fans
Turkey
on.
freaking tetrazzini. That's what you made for
That's right.
Thanksgiving.
Let me put this back on the air so you can see what we're talking about here. Anyway, well, I'm talking about my turkey, So I put the sea salts on it and the teriyaki sauce, and it cooked, it was so good. I mean, you didn't taste teriyaki. It wasn't like teriyaki chicken, teriyaki, but it had that little bit of it was delicious. We all ate it up, and I got my mom stood up, a round of applause at the table. It was delicious first turkey, and I had a lot of extras, which I love. You know what? I'm gonna make a turkey every week, and I'm just eat this turkey like I'm eating turkey sandwiches. Why buy this crap at the supermarket?
Yeah,
You know?
you
Turkey
don't
for
need that.
$10 and feeds you for the next
Oh my
week or
God!
so.
Yes, rocks. I mean, Vic here. Oh, Vic, how about that turkey, man? Was that unbelievable? I set her a plate. She
That's funny. Being in the business and all that, you cook one turkey breast. I cook 32. 32 whole turkeys we cooked up this past.
I thought about going someplace and saying, hey, you know what? Hey, how about making me a turkey and sliding it home and say, hey, look what I cooked up here. I did that once before. But, it's simple enough.
Now, the real trick, the trick you always want to, if you got time for it, you need to go out, buy it a couple weeks ahead of time. If you're using a frozen one, just to make sure you got enough time to thaw that sucker out, because it'll take 3-4 days to thaw naturally. That's what you want. You want that sucker to thaw naturally. And then what you do is you brine it. You submerge it in water.
I've heard of that.
Little
I don't know what
splash.
that means though.
Yeah, brine it. Brine your turkey. You submerge the sucker.
Makes it
and
juicy, right?
You won't. You're gonna permeate it all the way through. You submerge it, water. With seasonings. You got some cracked black pepper, some bay leaves, salt, sugar. What it does two things: helps tenderize the meat that's in there, and it'll keep it. You could burn that frickin' sucker, and it'll still be juicy on the inside. It just any kind of poultry you can do that with. I mean, I've been a place we brine our chicken wings, and they're just so damn good. And you wonder why they're so damn good. They're cooked, but they're juicy. And that's the secret to doing it right there.
There you
Fresh thyme, whatever you want to put in, whatever makes you happy. No, I never heard it. I never done teriyaki sauce, not with that.
Well, don't tell
That's
you.
a first for me.
And I poured it in the cavity too, so it boiled in the cavity. So like the fumes of the yaki
The fumes of the yaki.
went through the terry. You know what I'm saying?
I just think it's funny.
No, it's
We
great.
always make jokes about it, but what do you do with the leftovers? You make thick turkey fucking tetrazzini. That's what you do.
That was
And
good.
you did it the first time.
And what's even better was I had the little carrots all around the inside of it.
Yeah.
The carrots got that teriyaki thing going too, because the juices were pouring off it. The juices were pouring off it. I took pictures and sent it to everybody because I want everybody to see what I did.
He's proud of his
I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Our little Cashie's grown up.
Yeah. I'm all grown up. Speaking of growing up, let's get right to growing up. Is watching these NBA basketball. First of all, I'm not just going to pick on the Sixers right now because basically the entire NBA sucks. It's not watchable, and I can't. And tell me. And I watched the Sixers game a little bit before we went on the air, and San Antonio came to town, and all those people paid all that money to see nobody because Parker was out and Duncan was out. So the San Antonio put in the Ginobili and the boys. That's what it was, and a bunch of guys with bald heads.
They weren't paying too much. I did check the ticket prices just out of curiosity. I always do that. It was $6 for a ticket. So
$6 to see a professional sport other than soccer.
Well, here's what we always joked about the NBA prices. I saw somewhere online there was an article about the Jets game tonight. It was $10. You could get a ticket for $10.
Because the Jets had a Monday night game earlier this year. I'm pretty sure. Or the
Phantom tickets
Giants
cost more money than
the Jets or Giants. One of them had a Monday night game this year. I remember just I went on StubHub and the first thing I showed up was that game, Monday night game, Monday football. I clicked on the ticket. It was like $12.99. I'm like, for a professional football Monday night game? I'm like, is it that sad? Like,
national TV.
I'm like, what the? Is it that same
We just
game's
gotta
in
fill the
Philadelphia?
seats.
Like, I was looking at the games for Philadelphia, like the Eagles over the weekend. The cheapest ticket's $180 to sit standing room only. Like you can go for $12 Monday Night Football.
That's unbelievable. Not in this town.
No.
No way, shape, or form. In New York, it used to be that you couldn't get a ticket for any game.
If they're winning, it'd probably be $200. But when you're not, they don't care.
Everybody loves a winner one way or another.
And also, when you got a stadium that sits 85,000, you got some open seats. Yeah.
So I'm trying to watch. I'm watching this NBA action here. I watched the Sixers tonight a little bit before the show. I watched a couple days ago. It's like you want to see it. There's no way. I don't know if this team could beat anybody. I mean, it's just they're fundamentally stink. I mean, just the way they shoot, their mechanics. everybody except, Michael Carter Williams, who even he's starting to look like he's getting sloppy out there. The missed shots they're air balls and clunkers on the rims and stuff like that. And I'm seeing it's almost like I'm watching street ball. Some of these guys are taking shots and their heels are hitting them in the ass on their jump shots. That's long gone, man. You gotta get rid of that after high school.
It's little kid stuff.
Little kid stuff, right? I mean, what is that all about? I mean, going up to block shots way after the shot was gone. I mean, to make it look like you made an attempt. You do them shots where, I tried to block it, but I didn't get there on time. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds later. I'm there. Well, I tried, and hopping up and touching that rim for no reason and that kind of stuff. If I'm Brett Brown, I don't know how he blow his head off. Quite frankly, this guy's a legitimate basketball coach.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week, that they're doing it the right way, and you want to hope and pray that Brown's around to see the end result of the product, because if he's going to put in all this time and energy, I think you have to have a little loyalty to your coach to say, look, you put up with this shit years. Now that we've drafted and traded and done all this stuff to be set up for where we are in 5 years, the poor bastard should have the shot at coaching that team at the end result.
I think he has to be getting a mulligan for all that. So he's not good. I don't think they're going to hold this against him, because what do you expect?
They're taking a shot here. I mean, just because they're tanking, and they might bite. The word tanking is not allowed to be used, evidently. But if you think about it, they're tanking by talent.
The front office is tanking.
Yeah, they're tanking.
The players aren't tanking. They're trying their hardest. But I'm saying, not good enough. You can't the NBA can't come on the Philly and say you're tanking, because you don't have the talent to win a basketball game unless one of these teams decide not to show up. That's the only way they're going to do it. I mean, Brooklyn's got to come in here and just not want to play that day. OKC, same thing over there. I mean, they're tanking because they don't have their best player, and they definitely want to get a top 5 draft next year. They're not tanking because they
I'm saying they're tanking. They don't have a choice at this point, because they were all about Durant. That was their team. Like you said last week, NBA, all it takes is one guy on a team to make a team, competitive, right? And and you can see Cleveland, they're coming up. LeBron's starting to shape that team up a little bit the way he wants it, and little by little, Cleveland will rise to the top and be the best team in basketball right now. And quite frankly, LeBron, like it or not, is going to be playing in San Antonio again for a championship, and he's going to lose again.
That's the thing with the NBA. You said there's no rush. That's why San Antonio benched their stars for 10 games a year. There's no rush in the NBA, so Cleveland's fine.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I got an article up here. It says Tony Parker expects the Spurs to be competitive beyond the Tim Duncan era. And you've talked about this is one of your teams that does that you feel does the stuff right. I mean, and there's no reason to even question that statement. No. Even after Duncan and Audica, they've all retired or whatever, they're still going to be up there like they always are.
Because I mean, obviously, none of us have the numbers in front of us, but how with Duncan, when he sits out 10 games a year, I guarantee those 10 games per year, they probably still have a winning record. They probably still win when he doesn't play. So
I would go even high as say 75, 80%.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him at all. So that's the system. And we said it before. Actually, pull Brett Brown from that system. Right. Hopefully, he can build something like that. And back again, what you said, he's got to be getting some kind of pay. I mean, you're not going to fire him after this year because they
should be getting like hazard pay.
They can't fire him. It's not his fault. When and a coach can say, "Hey, I don't have any talent in this team. I don't." It's where if this scheme that the Sixers front office is doing, or this method, or whatever they want to call it, doesn't work, then what do they got? They're in big trouble. I mean, they're bringing guys in from Europe. They're bringing guys in who've been hurt, surgeries and things like that.
They're like 3 undrafted guys,
right? And they're looking to get lucky in the lottery. I mean, just because you have the worst record doesn't mean you get number one.
Look at Cleveland,
right?
Every time they win the lottery, they don't have the worst team. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and and the thing, right, exactly.
Last year they had a 1.2% chance, and they get the first.
That's it, and that could backfire for a decade, and money loss, and this city. You don't have the city couldn't care less about the Sixers as it is right now. No one goes to games. They and I remember the years, the Dr. J years, the championship years, the 80s, the late 70s, that season tickets, late 70s throughout the mid 80s. Even with those good teams, they didn't fill that spectrum. Sixers basketball has always been a tough sell in this city.
We're
for
not a
some reason.
basketball town.
No, not at all. Although, and we're one of the not the meccas, but one of the starters of basketball back in the day with Wilt and Cunningham in those days, and with the Boston back and forth and that type of thing. But we were never able. The only one who filled stadiums was Pat Croce, and he did it by way of Barnum and Bailey crap. Okay, he'd be standing out. He'd be swinging things from the top of the William Penn, or doing skydiving,
putting a Sixers jersey on William Penn statue on top. Yeah,
and doing bungee jumping off the Walt Whitman Bridge, and then bringing everybody in and running around the place, shaking hands, and he made the fans a part of the team.
And that's, let's face it, that was the last time you really felt interested. Because the 10 years before and the 10 years after, you didn't give a shit.
Well, and let's forget the master of ceremonies too. You have a player like Iverson who's an excitement every night, who gives it to you every night. That's key.
It is
to this stuff. That's not even, you got to have that player, and he had the rapport with that player, and then you had the Larry Brown build that little team of nobodies that we knew of at the time, and then make a trade for Dikembe Mutombo, who we did know about, who we thought was brought in there because this team knew they could get to a championship. They were going to come against Shaq. And they figured the only person they know in this league right now capable of stopping him was somebody who was 7'4".
That team was a real Philly team.
Yes.
Like there was Iverson's the undersized like underdog guy. And there's a bunch of just Eric Snows, Aaron McKees, George Lynch. It's just a bunch of like just hardworking guys.
George Lynch was a key to that team.
Well, you looked at it; they all had career years. They kind of overachieved. It was like the '93 Phillies.
Was Tony Kukoc on that team? He was traded.
We traded him for Mutombo. I'm pretty sure.
And the center was what's his name? Who everybody loved.
Geiger, McCullough.
No,
not McCullough.
He wasn't white. It was the guy that they traded for Mutombo, who was the center at the time, who started on that run. Remember the Sixers started out on that huge run, 20-3 run that catapulted them that year.
I don't remember who the center was.
Yeah, I got to figure out who that center was. Anyway, back to the Sixers now. It's
definitely not the 01 Sixers.
It's not pathetic. It's a shame that it is what it is, and this is the way. And you know what? It might be the roadmap to winning NBA basketball for other teams who can't get there. I mean, it's the usual suspects every year at the top of the NBA. Every now and then, another team moves. OKC moved up. Who were they before?
Oklahoma.
Seattle. Well, Seattle has a history of winning. So
with a completely different era.
Yeah, different era, right? But
Peyton Kemp.
Yeah, right, right. So that's okay. And even there, and then now they're backed off. But then it's the LA, it's the Boston, it's Miami. It's
but look
the
where
same.
Oklahoma City got this way because they were awful for 2 years, and in those 2 years they just happened to draft Durant and Westbrook.
Right.
So that's what the Sixers. What they're doing. It's why not do it? Why not? Because if you want to be average again and win 30 games, what is 35 wins? What's a 35 win season?
Not getting you.
You know what it is? It's not even that. No, to me, it's 0-17, man. I mean, come on, that's
it is.
It's professional ball. You know what I mean?
Honestly, they are pretty much embarrassing the league.
Yes.
They're embarrassing themselves, but it's something new. It's something we try to do it with like a good team. They tried it with the Iguodala, and they won the one series against the Bulls. But they're a 6, 7, 8 seed. It's not. You're not getting anywhere with that.
No.
Yeah, you may be a respectable team. We may win one full series, but you're not going to be a title contender. So why not just? Nobody's ever done this. Teams have tanked like the year before LeBron went there.
Yeah.
When Wade was hurt.
Right.
For 60 games.
Right.
And they won 18 games a year, and then they got LeBron, blah blah blah, all those guys, players. But nobody's ever gone to this extent of just completely tearing down every bit of talent from a team.
So, and for the third year in a row.
Yeah,
it's not like this has just happened this year. And you knew when the new owners came in there, they weren't there just to watch this team. They weren't going to say, hey, we got a basketball team, woo wah. They said this is a financial decision.
Yeah.
This team is being run and built like a company. Like if you start from ground and you take a 5-year plan on your company, and in 5 years you want your company at the top. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. They're not players on that court to this ownership. Hinckley and those
they're all assets.
They're all assets, and they like I said last time, they're it's the product. That's the starting product of what it is, and so pieces will come and go like stock, back and forth, and then until they get the right crew out there on the floor, that's the business. Unfortunately, the people in the stands don't want to wait 5 years. They don't want to drive 95 and go to a basketball game and watch high school ball. You can watch better college ball in Philadelphia right now than you can watch. And don't tell me a college team couldn't come in there and beat this team right now.
Yeah.
Because look,
I think it's a stretch.
it is. But if you look at the fundamentals of this basketball team, the way they play and the way their shots are off, and just the movement they have.
Horrible
off,
passing. We were watching
Right.
it at the beginning of the game. It was
and
horrible
what
passing.
bothers me is I know Brett Brown's a good coach, but off the ball, I'm watching some of these, and they're not even doing anything. They're not moving, and it gets to a point now where mentally you can only lose so much before it becomes just you get
Just
tired of
expected
losing.
and,
Yeah,
way
you
of life.
expect it, and then you become, in this age of social media and communications, players, they got crews, man. They got people. They got friends. The other guys, I don't even know if these guys have friends in the NBA. Come to think of it, half the team, who knows these dudes? They might not even have any friends. The other team comes in there. I'm sure five or six of those guys at the end of the game walking up to Parker and Duncan for autographs or get their picture or a selfie with them or something like that. At this point, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's I worry that well, not that I worry, but it's a concern that the method might not work. Unless they get the draft pick. And who's coming out of this college draft that right now, I know we can't tell, it's early.
Yeah.
But usually, like I said last
There's
week,
no LeBron. Yeah, there's no
yeah,
LeBron.
that's the thing. They're going to go for another mediocre player, or go to Europe or wherever they've been going. What do they got? Somebody from China, I think, was playing in China.
No.
Who's the tall guy I saw on the news today? Who's over in Europe playing?
Sarge?
Yeah,
the Turkish guy.
yeah. When's he coming
Croatian
here?
or whatever. He's playing in Turkey.
But-
In 2 years, he'll be here.
Did he have a broken leg first?
He broke his leg.
No. Did he break his leg or did
No,
he have an
no,
injury?
it's just he's contracted over there for X amount
I
of
thought he had
time.
an injury, but
No,
he was
no.
prior to
No,
being
that's
over there.
that's the guy we drafted this year.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Right.
He is a messed up.
Oh, indeed,
back.
he's messed
Yeah.
up. Yeah, well, because we're good at that.
Yeah.
This Sixer team is perfect at drafting guys that are messed up. And that's all good. That's a smart thing to do when a guy's beat up before he gets to the pros.
Yeah, but if he wasn't beat up, he would have been number one.
They soured me 3 years ago with what's his name from the Lakers when he came here and didn't play.
Oh, Bynum.
John Bynum.
Andrew Bynum.
John Bynum, isn't he the vice president? No, it's Joe
That's
Biden.
Joe Biden.
John
Well, you
Biden,
ain't
Joe
even
Biden.
close, man.
Wait a minute. Get that out of my system real quick.
But that's the problem. Is that
Yeah.
that's why they're. I feel like that's why they're doing what they did, because they did go for it when they were bringing in Elton Brand and they were bringing in Bynum. They were bringing in the big free agents, and both of them blew up in their face.
Yeah.
The Bynum thing set them back. That's why
That's
why
why
they are where they
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Because they traded, I think, 2 first-rounders to get him, and he played 0 games.
Where's he at these days, Biden? He's out of basketball. He went to Cleveland. He was in Cleveland. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
He was in
He was
Cleveland?
in Cleveland, then he couldn't get on the court. He was in Indy. I don't think he could get on the court. I don't know what he's doing, actually. That's a good question.
When you go, who's stealing money in the NBA?
Mm.
This guy stole more cash from more teams in less years than anybody ever in
Well,
basketball.
The Sixers are still paying Jason Richardson
That's incredible.
$8 million a year.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a game for us.
Yeah. And that's and in the realm of things, when you look at what they're doing as an ownership, that weighs in. That's money out the door right now for them. So once again, they're not signing anybody hard. No big time free agents. They're not even interested.
And in your defense of what you said, they're drafting guys that would have been number 1 or
Mhm.
number 2 or number 3, but because they have injuries, you're hoping that you can get somebody
because
at a bargain, at a
because the
deal,
thing
because
is, well,
you
who cares?
know
Yeah.
that they're injured.
Because
you
who
know?
cares if you can't play this year? Who cares if you can't play? We're going to be horrible anyway. So we just sit you out a year, get 100% healthy, and now we have a first overall pick a year late. Like,
Yeah.
that's what they're going.
Well, if we're going to compare systems, I want to shift.
Now, you
gears.
also remember one thing here, okay? If in 2 years, 3 years, the system's working and things are looking good here, we got a young team. Now
Hinkie will be a genius.
Yeah, and then the free agents who at that time are good, the guys who can put the icing on top of the cake here, so to speak, Brandon cliche, that now you can draw. I'm not saying a Kobe or a LeBron, but that type of player at that time. Who knows who's going to be there? Who knows Kyrie Irving might be available or something like
just
that at that time.
Look at 3 years ago, we'll say LeBron. If you mentioned him going to Cleveland, he would have laughed in your face.
Right.
And if you said it to any fan, "Hey, LeBron might go back to Cleveland," he'd be like, "No." But then they won 2 lotteries, got a star, got another star, traded for another star. Now LeBron goes, oh, Cleveland.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I would have respected LeBron more if he would have said, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm going back to Cleveland to finish my career. End of story. No, nothing else. I know I want to give back something. No, I want to do this. I want to be a good guy. I want to finish my career where I started. That would have been good enough for me. I don't want to, because I know why you're there. You're not there because they're the Sixers. You're there because you have another chance with a young crew of guys.
Because you realize where you were coming from.
Right. Yeah.
was getting old.
It's getting old. Right. And you can control that situation. You're now the man in Cleveland now. Where in Miami, you're losing your guys. You're getting old. You've already lost more championships than you won in your career. I tell you right now, LeBron James will go down in history as losing more NBA championship games than anybody who's ever been in NBA championship games. He's already there. He's already on the move. He's lost 3 of them already. Yeah. Okay, so he'll lose another. He'll get there this year.
But the first one in Cleveland was way ahead of his time.
Doesn't matter. The point is, records are records. Yeah, you start thinking back on guys who went to the NBA title, and if you think about it, you got to go into San Antonio. They've lost some championship games. They've lost. They've been there and lost it. Have they? Twice, I think. Right? Actually, no. If you
they lost to Detroit.
They lost to Detroit. Yeah.
I think they might have lost to.
But I'm talking about players, certain players. Like if I look at that, Duncan was Duncan was a rookie on that Detroit team.
No, that was the Detroit team.
That was the Brown Detroit team. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about Brown won a title. Yeah. I've got all about that. That's Brown for you. He whittled his way into a team, won a championship. Now he's in college doing something. So if you go back in NBA history, just as far back as 20 years from now, thinking all the guys who were in titles. Jordan, undefeated. Isaiah Thomas, undefeated. You go into
Kobe was almost undefeated. Kobe, yeah, he lost almost
1, 2.
He lost to Boston.
Yeah, he lost to Boston.
Yeah, but it was Boston though. That's you get a pass because it's Boston. The LA Boston thing. So Kobe's what, 5-1?
Kobe has 6.
He has 6 rings?
Yeah, he won 3 with Shaq, 3 without Shaq, I thought.
He's got as many as Jordan. I thought he had 5 rings and one 5-1.
I hate Kobe, so I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
I
forgot he lost one.
I'm a LeBron.
I actually forgot. I forgot he lost. I lost the title. So Kobe might have been in 7. So we'll have to check that because we're so knowledgeable here. So if you think back on, and it's not a record anybody keeps. It's it's like in the NFL. If you look at who's lost more Super Bowls. I mean, Elway, Brady. Okay, Elway lost 4. Tarkington lost 4. I'm trying to think who else. Jim Kelly lost 4. There's guys who have records for getting there and losing them without winning too. So, but if you look at LeBron, I think that's where his legacy was to win 6, to be Michael Jordan of the millennials, okay, of the teens or whatever. But he's never going to do it because he lost the championship and Jordan never did. So no matter what he does at this point, he's never going to be on that plateau because he lost the title game. Bottom line.
Yeah, but if he ends up making like 11 finals appearances,
that's not going to happen. You can't do that in this NBA.
Yeah, but he's already made 5.
Yeah, he's made 5 at his age that he is. But as you get older, you got to have the support like that going up. I just don't. It's not in the books in this NBA.
Yeah, but you already said you think Cleveland's going to end up playing San Antonio anyway. So that'll be 6. He'll be over halfway there.
Correct. Halfway there to what?
To 10, 11.
Okay, I guess you got a point. Yeah, well, maybe you do have a point. Well, in any way, shape, or form, I don't care if he gets to 10 of them.
Kobe
is 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, right. He was going for that 6-1.
Lost in 208.
Yeah, he was going for that 6 against boy. That was the whole story. He was going to get number 6, right? But I think that's that's where LeBron is. LeBron's thing is going to be I'm very good at losing championships. I'm capable of that stuff. It's only because when you have teams that are put together like that, and you gotta love a team like San Antonio who they just do it, and they put together a system, and the system wins the NBA.
Churn out players.
Yep. Hey, it's I know people hate the New England Patriots because of Belichick and the way he wins, but it's the same deal with New England. Belichick has a system. Some say he's got a quarterback too, but I'll agree with that to a point. But when your quarterback has no weapons and he's still winning football games, then it's a system. The system is work, and that's what I think Chip Kelly has too. I think Chip Kelly has a system, and the reason that I'm impressed by it, like I wasn't when he first came in, is because everybody's emulating it now. It's like like I said, the huddle is disappearing from the NFL. The speed of the game, the point scoring, the read option, all that stuff is starting to, all that stuff Chip Kelly was told wasn't going to work in the NFL. It's working because it's more exciting. And the rules are contorted to it. That'd make it a lot easier.
You're talking about system, but I'm going to switch gears to hockey.
What?
And hockey.
They still playing hockey?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because, you know, I
know,
know how
I'm
bad the
betting on it.
Flyers are.
All right, I'm just gonna take my headphones off now.
And how bad it's been. But, and, you know, Snyder went on calling people out today.
Oh, the hell with him calling people out.
Exactly.
He's the problem on that team.
And that's what I wanted to bring up to you. Okay, so he's the problem. Like we all talked about, I think Berube was like the Vegas odds to be the first one fired this year.
It's still one more loss and he will be.
One more loss. Yeah. And now I look at a team that really is really 100% better. And I look at what happened to the Flyers when he first came here, Lavi. Look at what Laviolette. Look at what he's like 100-degree turnaround in Nashville. They're playing awesome. They're scoring goals and all the stuff. I was wondering. I'm sitting here thinking about it, going, all those times you said it could be right. It could be right. It's you're set up to fail coming to Philadelphia as the Flyers anymore. I listen to nothing but frustration when I hear Ron Hextall do a press conference or anything anymore. It's wow. It's like the Peanuts, the teacher. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. All I hear is like disappointment. That's all I hear is like, I'm not allowed to do what I came here to do. Here I'm coming from L.A. Wasn't he was part of L.A. He built up basically the cup teams in L.A. He had a hand in a lot of rebuilding of other teams. I'm pretty sure. And I don't see. I see a different Ron Hextall now from when he first came here, and then I look at the freaking Nashville Predators, and I'm looking at their system, and it's like all the stuff that we were doing when we went to the Cup that year, like that flip, that turnaround. Now we weren't a great team, and the number one thing was. And it just flashed into my head. I remember Catchy always talks about this. His goal one of his main goals going down to Nashville was getting pucks on net. Pucks on net, because you put more pucks. It's just odd. It's the inevitable. A puck's going to go in. Now Nashville was horrible. They had a good goalie, but they were horrible at getting scoring. They weren't. Now his goal was to take it from under 20 shots a game to over 31 shots a game, and on net. The key thing being on net, and he's quoted as saying, not off to the sides, not attempts, not this. I want pucks hitting that goalie. Right. And what is your number one bitch about this team?
Sunoco sign and glass.
Why can't we just paint a fucking Sunoco sign on the goddamn goalie? You know what I mean?
It's the truth.
Just take a light, flash it on there.
You're right. This team is from its owner down is the same team, same built. There's nothing. Flyers do not know how to build a hockey team. They don't. They thought they did back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. Right now, they can't build hockey teams. They just keep masking it, and they never get the right players. So at some time, they're going to have to turn around and look at the other teams. I'm bringing Hextall over here from L.A. because L.A. won a couple of championships. That's great, but you got to, there's no way that's Hextall talking. I've heard Hextall talk. I've heard him talk on other shows. I've heard him talk in L.A. after they won the title, and he don't talk like that robot crap. Like, it's like if I close my eyes, it sounds like Holmgren, and if I close my eyes, it sounds like Clark. It's the same monotone, and if someone asks a question that's out of that they don't like, they look at you like you're stupid, and they're not. Okay? And that's coming right from the top. And until the top is chopped off, this team is never going to change. Okay? Ed Snyder looks for titles every year. Every year he wants to compete for the Stanley Cup. And when you're old, you want to get things done before you're not around to do it anymore. Okay? So, and that's what happened with this hockey team. Once again, they're back and forth with goalies. They can't decide what goalie they want. It's the same crap with goalies on this team for the past 30 years, since Hextall was here, 20 years or whatever. So it's back and forth to goalie. They don't have a perennial goal scorer. Okay? I don't hear about Drew anymore. Drew's not the guy. He's not your NHL superstar yet. If he was, he had a couple good years. Now, I don't see it right now. Because if he was, he could carry this team. He can't carry the Flyers right now. Okay, Voracek is an up and coming player. I mean, he's been in the league for a few years, but he's a player at least.
But let's face it, he's not the sniper.
No,
He's not.
there is no sniper.
He's a number 3 scorer on your team.
There is
2
no
or 3.
sniper on this team. There's not a guy on this team who I can say put him out there. The only reason I put Giroux out there on an overtime, that freaking stupid shootout crap, I would put him out there because he had the ability to maneuver past the goalie, not because I'm worried about his shot going past. For the most part, I mean, there's not a shot on that team.
I'm just worried he'll pass it during a shootout.
I mean, Simmons,
where the hell he
Simmons is your best shooter, I think.
I actually think so too.
I mean, that's it.
And he's, I think they're not being used. They're not being used right because
there's no system.
Exactly.
There's no freaking system on this hockey team. When a guy, and I've been saying it for years, you take the puck out of your zone, there's a play. It's almost like you call play, and no one knows where they're going to be. It's almost like, and they're always passing that puck all the way across the ice, to one end to the other. And it's never tight. Like leave it off, slip it. Like you know what I'm talking about. Like leave it off, like hand it off, like flip, like flip. Detroit coming out of their own zone.
We haven't. I mean, like really, Timonen was probably our only outlet. Matt Carl was. He's gone. You get throwing back Desjardins, all these puck handling defensemen that we used to have it in the past.
Holy shit! I saw the retirement or the Hall of Fame for Lindros and Leclerc. Like, oh my god, that was hockey back then.
Going down, something you
I had
need
the
to see.
Season tickets, and I was down there every other night watching these two go bing bang bing, and the whole team played and they scored goals. They might not win titles, but they're always competing hard, and it was good hockey. You know, It's not. I go down to the hockey games now, and you don't see hockey anymore. It's like, ugh. You're bitching. You're down there. Well, I'm a good bitcher, but that's perfect when I get down there. So when I go down to hockey games, I'm bitching. I'm like, what the frick?
Well, and it boils down to, we're not just sideshow fans,
right?
We actually know. We know. I mean, you and me in particular, I'll stay up and watch the late night. Wife's like, what the hell are you doing up at 1 o'clock in the morning? San Jose's playing Anaheim. I'm actually
hockey.
I want to see hockey.
Right,
That's right. I want to see West Coast. I want to see some excitement, and to sit there, you get that craving, and you get so disappointed. And poor Mikey's probably. See, now you know how I feel when you guys start talking fucking basketball, right? Suffer through it, but like. It's the truth. You want to see some semblance of what you had before in the past. We as fans we're yelling because we can see what's wrong. We're seeing it.
We've been talking about this for years now. We talked about this back from the Joe the Puck days at the radio station. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it on our radio. Yeah, we talked about it. We've been doing this 4 years now, a little over 4 years back and forth. And we started this thing during the Stanley Cup run. Okay, so the excitement was there. The next year we got disappointed back and forth, and it's the same conversation, which means after 4 years, the same conversation. It is what it is over there, and it's not changing anytime soon unless the higher ups change. Okay, Ed Snyder has to stop hiring guys that he can control. He's got to bring in hockey outside of the realm of the Flyers' thinking. Okay, Hextall was not out. He just came from L.A. He didn't run the whole show over there. He came from L.A. Listen, they have ownership too, and they have people, and they got scouts, and they got coaching over there.
Absolutely.
And they don't change it, and with the Flyers, like you just said, the coaching change, the carousel of coaches that go through this team in a 20-year span. There's no cohesiveness in an organization if your manager is always changing. Because players adapt to a manager sometimes. Hitchcock was a coach I liked back in the day, and because he was stern and hard on his players, and they bitched and moaned up top to Holmgren, Clark at Holmgren, and Snyder, they got rid of the freaking coach.
Gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go. Our $500,000 players, they say you gotta go, and it goes down the line. And it started with Keenan. When Keenan got hard, that's when it all started back in those days. And what did he do? He goes to New York and wins the Stanley Cup.
Goes a lot of places.
Vancouver. Did he? No, he was at Vancouver, wasn't he? They didn't win a cup though. They got there. They lost to Jersey.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, You still up here, Mike? You know,
I just woke up.
He's waiting for you to ask a Godfather 2 question.
Well, no, you didn't watch it, did you?
No, I watched.
You didn't watch it too? You're lucky. I forgot
I
about
watched
that.
it.
Next
I
week,
didn't.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was letting him sweat.
I don't know. I was supposed to watch it.
All right, next week you watch too.
I was supposed to watch too.
Yeah, it's
All
some of it's in Italian, so you better get your.
Oh,
what you got
God.
out. Now there's subtitles. Don't worry about it. You already got it.
Just you got to be able to read fast. So
Yeah. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
No, but I mean, to piggyback on what you guys are saying, I'm not a hockey guy. I know the sport. I know the play. I do know the players. I'm not even a hockey fan or a Flyers fan, and I could rattle off 12 to 15 goalies they've had in the past 12 to 15 years,
Right.
and I'm not even a hockey guy.
Right.
I
the
can sit here-
only thing that's different, they've had more coaches than goalies.
So, like,
I mean, look at it.
I mean,
like,
if I can do it, and like, I know you're not supposed to just have 2 new ones every year. Like, I know this is not.
Yeah,
This shouldn't how it be. Like, I'll ask people. This is who's Mason? I thought we just had Emery, and I thought we just had Leighton, and I thought we just had all these guys, Czechmonic, and
Oh, what about our guy
and
Briz?
Boucher. Like,
Forgot
Yeah,
about
Briz.
Briz was
yeah,
great.
Briz. Like,
Briz was a patron saint of the show. We loved him. He was a
Yeah.
material magnet, man.
I did watch that like the HBO show when he became famous.
Oh, what 24/7?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
24/7.
He was
that was
funny.
downfall of him.
Yeah.
That was the end
Oh,
of
I
Briz,
know.
man.
well, now
He's a
was it
cartoon
Encore?
character.
Encore's got a 4-part series leading up. I don't know. It's not 24/7, but up to the Winter Classic. I think I don't know if it's Epics, or maybe it might be Epics. Epic has got it, and leading up to the Winter Classic, and I if I had flashbacks, I'm like, oh no,
Mhm.
Winter Classic is Washington and Chicago this year. I think it's in DC, right? Yeah, it's at the Nationals Stadium.
Hi, guys.
Oh yeah,
11 o'clock, man.
yeah.
2 hours goes fast when you're rapping with the Sports Goombahs. I'd like to thank all our sponsors: Apple Public Adjusters, Seal Roofing, M. Resnick Plumbing, Tech Zap. Also, would like to little shout out to Jeffrey Brandy's and the guys at trendbetting.com, where if you guys want picks that are better than mine, that's where you need to go lately. I'm Cassidy King. I got my chef to the left, Brendan B. I got Mikey Wall. Mikey the Wall, who we bounce it off. If it doesn't bounce on, it bounces off. We'll be back next Monday, 9 o'clock. Same Sports Goombah channel. Have a good one.
See you.